Hello, and thank you for joining me for another adventure in Thrifting with Purpose. This is our lovely little pin for today. It was $2.50. I think it's so sweet. My mother used to buy me pins all the time, and I love wearing them. We're going to begin with this lovely Art Deco tin lithograph. It has a sweet little poem about Mother, and the artwork is so detailed and the colors so rich. I just love it. This little lithograph has been sitting around this stall at a local antique mall for about 3 years. It never had a price on it. As many times as I moved it around, hoping that the vendor would finally put a price on it, I finally just had to ask the gentleman at the counter to call the vendor and ask them to price it, and they did, and I finally brought it home after 3 years. This lovely little swan, when I saw the silhouette and felt the glaze, I suspected it was Hager, and when I brought it home I confirmed, yes indeed it was. It is just not marked Hager. Hager often comes with a paper label and it'll say Hager Floral. Other pieces are marked on the mold on the bottom, sometimes with a year and shape and with a distinctive signature block print. And I was just thrilled to find this. I found it for $1. It was 50% off days, so it was originally $2, but I purchased it for $1, and I just love it. And I think they go well together. Here we have some uranium glass. And I have been looking for a saucer for a cup that I purchased for my son about 6 weeks ago. And we went out together this week, went to the thrift stores, and we found one. He was only in town a short time, and we found the saucer together. This beautiful little creamer has little shamrocks on it. I thought it was so sweet, and there are little shamrocks on the foot. It's embossed on the inside, which I thought was unusual. I paid $6 for the creamer and sugar, and the sugar is an open sugar. It is not missing its lid, and both pieces have no damage on them. So I'm delighted to add it to my little growing collection. They aren't spectacular pieces, but they are a joy to look at. This lovely little rose is a candy dish. It is satin glass, and it was 50% off at the antique mall, so I paid $7 for it. It has no damage, and it does not glow. I wish it did, but it does not glow. I only have one other piece of yellow glass, and I thought that this was so pretty that I wanted to add it to my little glass collection. The other yellow item that I have is Custard Glass, and I thought this little satin glass piece was just perfect. And it doesn't glow. I wish it did, but it doesn't. It's still pretty. It'll look pretty with some little fairy lights in it on the coffee table. This little piece of Jasperware was also 50% off. I paid $7 for it. It's the only piece of Jasperware that I have. I've never had it. I'm not very fond of the texture, but I thought this piece for $7 was very pretty. There's no damage to it. Jasperware was discovered by the English potter Josiah Wedgwood. This biscuit pottery was a result of several trials while he was researching techniques of manufacturing porcelain. So that's how Jasperware came about. It is an unglazed bisque, and the earlier pieces have color all the way through. Later pieces are only dipped, and that's how you can tell the difference. But I suppose you would have to break it to find out if you have an earlier piece or a later piece. Now this beautiful piece of glass was 50 cents, and I thought, gee, that reminds me of a little Victorian decoration for Christmas trees. So I thought, I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to do something special with it. It does have a pontil mark, but there are seams, so I suspect it was blown into a mold. But I think the color was very pretty. For 50 cents, we can think of something to do with it. Very pretty. And we might revisit this piece at the end of the video. This beautiful little piece was made in Taiwan. I did not buy it for resale. I'm going to be using this in a project this summer, but for 50 cents, I thought it was a nice little buy. So that will go in my box where I am collecting pieces of porcelain. It's just imitation flow blue, but still very pretty. And I know it was made in Taiwan because it did have a label on it. I just removed the label. This is a wonderful little black brass apple that I found when I was sorting sugar fruits in a previous video, and I thought I'd share that with you. I was really happy to find it. It's not a heavy brass, it's just a very thin brass, but it is a brass apple. So I think we're going to turn it into a decoration. I thought it was quite pretty. This is the little vintage Lucite bracelet. I showed it to you in an earlier video, but I thought we'd take a closer look at it. It is handmade. You can tell about with the unevenness. It's not machine made. This was hand poured by someone. And it is somewhat yellowed, and that kind of gives a hint of the age. And we're going to do something special with acrylic soon, and we might revisit this little piece. But I love it for myself, and I love wearing it. I was very excited. This was $6, and it was kind of a fun little find. It was sort of an accident. The lady up at the counter was pricing the jewelry, and I said, "Ooh, I'd like to have that, please." This is just a little piece of acrylic. It is a vintage piece. I purchased it for $1, and I did purchase it for the design on the inside. I wanted to study it because I'm going to be pouring acrylic soon, and we might be revisiting this and creating a few vintage pieces. I thought recreating a couple pieces would be a lot of fun. I love the artistry, I love the way it was designed, and I thought that was inspiring. So we might revisit this soon. Now this lovely little bracelet, I'm going to call it a bracelet because it's going to be a bracelet. It has no clasp on it. I think it may have been a necklace that someone broke. I do believe it is silver. I paid $4 for it. I'm going to be taking off these extra bits and I'm going to put a clasp on it and make a bracelet out of it. And with the extra dangly bits, I'm going to be using them in an upcoming project that will be on video. I think it'll make a fun little bracelet. It's fun to play with. Well, I think it's time to revisit this little item right here. But before we do, I'm going to show you a little something, how I clean the Jasperware, and that'll be coming up shortly. The dust gets in the little crevices of the flowers. I take the air can that you generally use just for your computer cleaning, and it does a very fine job getting into all the little cracks and crevices, and it comes quite clean. I don't like to use water because I don't want to embed any of the dirt inside the bisque. So this is how I clean pieces of porcelain with applied flowers or cameos. And I hope this is helpful to you. I think it's a lovely piece, and I'm very delighted that I found it. And this is their new home. Join me as we repurpose our little piece of blue glass. And there's our Victorian ornament. Please like and subscribe, share, hit the notification button. Have a lovely day.